What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Friday weather update for Friday, February 23rd, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where we do the daily weather update for both the short term and the long range in the United States. We also talk about weather events around the world, including weather records. Starting off today, looking at the national satellite picture, you can see across the midsection of the U.S., it's relatively quiet. You're seeing sunny conditions. Along the east, there are some clouds and showers that are ongoing, but that is starting to exit the picture and should clear out as we head into tonight, which is going to set the stage for a rather cold weekend in the Northeast. Not going to be anything extremely cold, but colder than what it's been much of this week. Taking a look at the West Coast, you can see relatively quiet. We'll have to watch here. You can see there's a system out here in the Pacific that is going to impact portions of the Pacific Northwest. Oregon and Washington, some rain and mountain snows are possible for you this weekend. Taking a look at the latest radar picture, you can see here there is some shower activity in the east. Much of that is going to exit the picture as we head into tonight, and there is some snow shower activity across Wisconsin this afternoon. Taking a look at the national hazards, a whole bunch of nothing going on. The only place you will find some active weather is in the Pacific Northwest, where there are some winter storm watches up for the mountains. And even up in Alaska and down in Hawaii. Look at that. Relatively quiet for you as well. Let's take a look at the precipitation over the next 1 through 7 days. And you'll see here, you'll see a couple things. A lot of precipitation is expected in the Northwest and even portions of Northern California and the mountainous region of California. We'll have to watch as a system's going to come in through that area. I'll show it to you on the models. And there is precipitation that is expected across portions of the Tennessee Valley and the Ohio Valley. That will be associated with a severe weather threat that is going to set up Tuesday into Wednesday. Taking a look now at excessive rainfall, you can see here there are no excessive rainfall alerts for the next couple days. Taking a look now at the Storm Prediction Center, nothing really impressive for today, although they do have a statement out saying that a watch is unlikely across northern Florida, southeast Georgia, and southeast portions of South Carolina. Maybe an isolated severe storm with that, but really nothing through the weekend. It's going to be quiet for severe weather this weekend. Then we come into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and you can see here, there is the threat of severe weather. They already have 15% mean slight risk, and that also continues into Wednesday as well. So that is something we will be watching next week. Wind, hail, maybe even an isolated tornado is possible with that threat. Let's take a look at the NAM model as we head into the weekend. You can see our storm system in the east. It clears the coast. That weak system that is up in Wisconsin right now, that could provide some snow showers, even down across the Appalachian Mountains, maybe a couple sprinkles or a flurry in North Carolina for tomorrow evening. And then you can see for the rest of the weekend, it's relatively quiet, except for the Pacific Northwest. You do see this mountain snow that sets up. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And then as we head into early next week, a weak system does roll through portions of the Northeast. New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, even Massachusetts. Maybe some light snow with that. Can't rule out a coating to an inch in some places, especially in the higher elevations, maybe up to 2 inches in the higher elevations. And then you can see here, as we head into Tuesday, this is the end of the NAM run. Look at this southwest flow that's setting up. That is going to bring in warmer air. Take a look at this. You can see, look across Texas. The NAM for Monday evening is showing temperatures to be in the upper 80s across portions of Texas. And you know what? There's some indications it could get even warmer than that. Let's just jump right to it, and I will show it to you. Take a look at this on the European. This is a 60 euro. It only goes out 90 hours. But take a look at this. Yes, it is showing isolated 90-degree temperatures on February 26th in Texas. Should that happen, some records will be smashed in Texas. I think it's a little bit extreme, but hey, even the GFS is showing mid to upper 80s across portions of Texas. So that is something we will really have to watch. Something else we really have to watch, well, that's the severe weather threat for next week. Let's run through the GFS, shall we? And you can see this weekend, quiet. except for the Pacific Northwest. Some rain along the coast, mountainous snows. Some of that could be locally heavy. And there could be isolated amounts of over a foot in some areas, maybe even higher in the highest elevations. Then you can see that energy as we get into next week. There comes that southwest flow. And this is for Tuesday afternoon. Let me show you temperatures on the GFS as well. You can see some isolated 80s across portions of Texas. And look at this. 70s and 60s get all the way even up to Wisconsin. You're talking 70s in southern Illinois, much of Missouri, much of Kansas, much of Oklahoma, Arkansas. So the temperatures, they're going to be up. How about the dew points? Let's take a look at the dew points. Look at the dew points. Dew points get rather impressive as well, even into portions of Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana. So we got the dew points. How about instability? Look at this. Check. There's some instability as well. And let's go back to the dew point map for a second because I want to show you something. Look what starts to happen Tuesday night. You're seeing this, dew points in the 60s, but look behind this line right here. Yep, dew points quickly dropping into the single digits. That would signal some sort of a dry line. And what would that mean? The potential for severe weather. I can also show you the 500 millibar pattern. Look at this energy. You can see here, you have a good tilted trough. So we have to watch ourselves here. We could get ourselves into trouble across portions of Kentucky and Tennessee on Tuesday night, and then again on Wednesday. The GFS is already showing some precipitation, so some thunderstorms would likely develop ahead of this front. A few of them could become supercell thunderstorms with the isolated potential for tornadoes. This threat is going to continue into Wednesday. You can see now I have this set for Wednesday now. And it wouldn't surprise me if the threat shifts further north and portions of Ohio and western Pennsylvania get involved. You can see the GFS does that, but the Storm Prediction Center, you can see here, they're not really including those areas just yet. It's pretty far out. We'll have to see. That looks to me like on the GFS, it's signaling some thunderstorm activity there as well. Now, as I advance this, take a look what happens here in the northeast. Yes, it does rain out ahead of the front, but it appears to me that this is an anti-front type system, meaning there's moisture on both sides of the front. You can see it changes over to snow across portions of Vermont, even the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. So that is something we are going to have to keep our eyes on. Let's go over to the Canadian model and see what that is showing at this time. And I will advance the Canadian model into next week. You see southwest flow. It sets up. And as we head into Wednesday, look at this. You can see here, some thunderstorms do develop ahead of the actual front. And the Canadian is actually showing, look how this is curvy. That would be a signal for a QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. Should that happen, well, then the tornado threat might go up a little bit, because anytime you get some hooks within a QLCS, you could potentially be dealing with an increased tornado situation, and you would definitely be dealing with a wind threat. Still some time to work this out. I'm in agreement right now with the Storm Prediction Center's slight risk. I don't think that needs to be up to an enhanced risk just yet. If it does, maybe we're looking at around Sunday time frame, because there are still some indications that, hey, maybe this doesn't pan out as big, or maybe it does pan out as big. And you can see here, the Canadian is fairly more impressive than the GFS, and that QLCS, look at this. It does make it all the way to West Virginia. So that's something we would have to watch. And beyond that point, I want to show you something else on the Canadian. Look at the West Coast here. Yeah, that's a pretty active signal that is going to continue out on the West Coast. I think you are dealing with above average precipitation for quite some time. And incidentally, the end of the Canadian, likely to change next run. Look at this. Another warm-up, another ridge, maybe another severe weather threat. This time it would target the plains, and we're talking the following week. Pretty far out there. Alrighty, let's take a look at some long-range stuff. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Above average for much of the country, aside from the West Coast. Well below average in Alaska. Precipitation, slightly above average in the east, well above average on the west coast. You just saw the Canadian. I'm in agreement with what the Canadian is showing on the west coast. It's going to be active. Below average in between, that's not good because we do need some rainfall up into the Dakotas now. And the Four Corners region, you could use the rainfall as well. 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, well above average across much of the east, with the biggest axis being across the Great Lakes, slightly below average in the west, and well below average in Alaska. Precipitation, slightly better. Some precipitation into the plains, some in the south. The highest will be in the west coast, near normal in between, and slightly below average in the northeast, although I'm not in total agreement with that. There have been signals showing up on the GFS and the GEFS in the long range. There could be some sort of warm, I don't mean cold now, warm coastal system, meaning a coastal system sets up and targets the east coast somewhere, but it would be in the form of rain because there wouldn't be any cold air available. It would be a warm system. We'll have to see how that pans out. I'll keep following it on the models. If I see anything interesting, of course, I'll share it with you in the next update. I hope you enjoyed this update. That's all I have for today. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below and share this with anyone you know. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.